Oh, yo! This update looks sick! They finally added a normalize function. I was looking for that, like, last week. So I was thinking it was time for a change of pace, and I was going to build just a completely normal ship. And that footage turned out to be really boring, so we're doing some weird janky shit again today. My original idea was to have a ship in two parts where one part could lift up, but obviously it didn't work because it just pushed the other one down and kind of stayed in the same position. What if it's a ship that's segmented into, like, 4 separate segments? And then if there is a projectile about to hit any one of the segments, that one segment just lifts up to dodge it. So here's what I'm thinking. We have this middle section that's just a brick of armor. Like, completely unbreakable but useless. And all it does is it has a bunch of docking stations on tractor beams to lift and lower. Docking stations on tractor beams, docking stations on spin blocks to lift and lower the segments. So they're going to be made of metal because they don't actually have to worry about weight because they'll be held by a docking station. So I'll just make this outer layer out of metal and then just normal alloy it up. They changed the armor meta again, or they changed how armor meta works. I mentioned in I think like 2 videos ago, I mentioned how spalling works now, how you don't want to do spall liners. And I said, like, offhandedly, I don't know, they changed the armor meta so often that it's impossible to keep track of. They changed it again, like 3 days ago. Would I want, like, I don't know what to do anymore. I can't just pole spam. Can I wedge spam? This the realest armor scheme you don't even know. You don't even know. Check this shit. I'll even do you one better. This shit will be the new meta. I am a pioneer. Check it. I'm cooking. You actually want to stagger, you hurt? This is a good armor scheme. Get rid of this shit up here. So you can fully appreciate. Look at that. Nothing's getting through that. It's gonna be embarrassing for someone with, like, quintuple digit hours in the game, but I gotta, like, look up. No, my internet. Oh, why the fuck am I in airplane mode? Do you really still think I believe in airport mode? Airplane mode? That shit's a lie. That shit's a scam. They tell you to put your phone in airplane mode. They don't need you to put your phone in airplane mode. Their instruments work fine. They want you to turn it on so you can't see your location, you hear? Hang on, let me keep cooking up my armor scheme in the background while I'm spitting this for you. They just don't want you to know your location, because if you knew where you were, the whole narrative would break. You got to have some poles to keep the buoyancy. The alloy to keep the buoyancy. In fact, we need to replace this back one with alloy. It's just more efficient for buoyancy. They've had warp technology for a while. They invented it back in 2001. Why do you think 9/11 happened? The war wasn't the goal. The CIA planted fake conspiracy theorists to tell you that 9/11 was an inside job done to justify a war, but the war was just a distraction. The entire point of 9/11 is, hang on, I gotta get this shit together. I gotta fix this armor scheme or people are gonna start thinking I'm crazy. The entire point of 9/11 was just to renovate the airports under the guise of adding more security. Why do you think that after doing all that, there's no extra security? Because they weren't increasing the security. Open your eyes. They were just revamping why do you think airplanes are shaped like that? They were replacing them with teleporter tubes. The whole reason TSA takes as long as it does is because They need to make sure the first wave of tourists have finished teleporting. Otherwise, if you bump into them, the whole narrative is ruined. See, you want to use connection struts here, because it's the only way to connect to there. It's the secret ingredient to this armor scheme, making it all work. No, the whole reason they're trying to hide warp technology is the oil lobby. The oil lobby would lose tons of money if people figured out you could just teleport everywhere, so they gotta keep that charade going. You want the checkerboard technique. That's the real good armor. They all just take you straight under Fort Knox. That's the teleporter hub. Why do you think they bring all the gold there? Is because you need gold for the filament rings to get the teleporters to work. Look it up. It's US patent number 525. I forgot what the patent number is. Sorry, I got Havana syndrome. They're beaming microchips into my head. No, if you would be able to see your flight path, the whole narrative would break down. People would start figuring out. Trust me, the maps aren't how they look. The government owns the map. Look it up. You won't be able to find anything. Government owns the internet too. It's over for you. Look at this armor scheme. Nothing is getting through here. Nothing is getting through here. Let me test it out even. They don't want you mapping out what the world really looks like. Otherwise, you would realize that Israel's the biggest country on Earth. It's true. Population of 500 billion. You can look it up. Won't find anything though. Government owns the internet. Where the fuck are the ABC? AC? It's over for me. Havana syndrome. I'm sorry, guys. Weapon systems. All weapons. Fire on my test. Ain't nothing getting through here. See? Okay, now it's packed. Making me look like an idiot in front of these people. Now look at this. Oh. Hey, they didn't get through, though! They didn't get through, though! Maybe I'll just do a solid brick of alloy. Maybe that'll work better. Alright, so we'll have a total of 8 segments. 2 in the back, 2 in the front. Look at this. This is actually looks kind of sick. Right, presuming I did this right. Oh, that looks kind of sick. Alright, so I'm just going to test this real quick. I've hooked this one up, so now if I rotate 4-4. 4-4. If I rotate 4-4, it should balance out the distance. It doesn't. In fact, it seems to do it the opposite of what I want it to do. A silly mistake. I needed to divide by cosine. Now I think it worked. Perfect. Now I just need to change the angle of the tractor beam. Alright, times -1. Go. That should work. Okay. So now we can move that segment up and down freely with only a little bit of latency. Alright. Right. Oh. That's not right. I guess we don't have to invert the forward ones. There we go. And yeah, you can see the whole cross section. Wait. I have an idea. The way you get from the upper decks to the lower decks is you hit a button and it raises that segment so you can get in here and you just step on and then it lowers it back. You know what? We can repair cheese a little bit. Just a little bit. I want it to be reasonable. Hello? How are they? Tractor beams just continuing to be buggy as shit. Make it really unique. Unique's not always good, though. And I think I might have made the mistake of bad unique. Using some decorations to get slopes we couldn't normally get. That's how you know you're doing good. I wanted to be kind of round and wormy, but still be boat-like. I think it turned out alright. I've been doing a weird little personal project. I have been making ginger ale from scratch over the past few days, and it's been really fun. But I did at some point today or yesterday get a shitload of ginger oil straight on my hand. It reeks of ginger in my room now, just because I walked in with it on my hand. See, look, we get this weird ass shape here because this isn't real, and there's no way that this thing is ever going to be actually hydrodynamic. My whole room reeking of ginger and lemon is not the most terrible fate. It's actually quite pleasant. Alright, so here is our ship's hull. It's a pretty neat hull. Because we can have it so like the segments go up when shells are near, but there's no way of knowing which segment the shell is going towards. I wonder if you can tell me where a target is. Unless we have to turn to our old pal Lua. We can dodge missiles. What about shells? Does it still fire if it's or does it still consider it a missile warning if it's a shell coming in? No, it's detecting that shell, but there is no missile warning for the shell. Dang it. So we have missile warning shit. I kind of assumed that missile warning and shell warning would be the exact same thing. Okay, is it only going to shoot? Okay, that one was missing by a narrow margin. What if it's just like a complete whiff? Like there is no shot in hell that it's going anywhere near. This is not landing in the same area code as this thing. Damn. This will only aim if they're like aiming really close straight at us. This could work. This could work. But it's gonna be really weird. This is slowly becoming more and more ham-fisted. Alright, we're using a shard cannon as a Sea Whiz gun. That'll work well. Oh, because of the weird way that tractor beams work, it's, really thrashes the boat around. My idea is that we basically have it so it's only shooting it, like, it only shoots at projectiles that are actually coming straight at this segment, whatever segment it's on. Why are you aiming that way? I said no idling. What? We're only firing if it's within 3 degrees. Yeah, you don't even try to fire. But here's the thing. Why are you not going to your idle? Why is it not idling? Why is it just aiming at them? What? Why the fuck is the fire command 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? What? Why? Why is everything busted? Why is your barrel down between your legs? Okay. Why does it say there are 2 World War cannons? What? And why is its fire command I'm gonna have a panic attack. What's wrong with everything today? I am baffled. Ooh, I think this is a bug. Okay. So you have no way of telling if a Sea-Wiz is trying to aim. For some reason, the idle aim is not the idea where it'll go back to idle aiming if there's not a shell is not working. So I could use that to basically detect if the gun isn't idle aiming, then it's detected a shell is incoming. Therefore, we need to lift that segment to dodge. I can't do that. Can I limit the angle of them? Man, nothing is working. This is one of those. Can I limit the angle of the LAMS node? Maybe this. Alright, here's our beautiful wormy ship. Actually, I wonder... I'm gonna do something real quick. Some goofy shit like this. Hell yeah. Sorry, I've spent genuinely like 5-10 minutes staring at this hypnotized. I've completely forgotten what I was gonna do. Ooh, that looks nice. It's starting to make me dizzy. I gotta stop with this wiggly bullshit. So this is our little teensy little all-in-one. So this is our super compact little all-in-one LAMS. Essentially, if we've been going down, if we have less laser than we have in last tick, we are actively firing the laser. Is there any way I can make sure that this happens after this? Is there a, how do I do an order of operations to this? Alright, so if aft 1 is firing, aft 1 go up. Oh, I missed it. Whoops. I want it to, go down after a delay. Alright, so now the moment we dip below max, it'll reset this. It'll set its status to 1. And then when it turns off, it'll stop setting, and then it'll trigger this, start this countdown, 1 second later, it'll set it to 0. Okay. This is so annoying because, man, if only the Sea-Wiz version worked. So if button 1 is pressed, so either of these buttons are pressed, and we're going to do the same thing, where it activates instantly and then takes a while to turn off. So now this is going to set whether or not 4-1 is summoned. I should make a proper way to do, like, local estrogen. Just for parts of your body, not the whole body. Hormone replacement therapy for, like, very targeted spots, you know? I don't mean that in a trans way, by the way, just, like, heart health, you know? Estrogen is good for heart health. Well, testosterone's bad for heart health. I guess kind of both, in a way. Oh! 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 Thank you, it caught me! Alright, so now I click this. Oh, it's huge. That's so cool. I'm just gonna add little hazard strips. Oh, it looks sick. Looks way better. Is the Marauder out of ammo? Nope. We've just been dodging it. That's so funny. Kind of makes the whole segmentation pointless because there's no way. I really wish the Sea-Wiz plan worked because the Sea-Wiz can actually check to see if it's going towards that ship or that part or not. But, oh well. We'll say, having to jump from ship to ship makes building a lot more annoying. Anyway, that's all the time I really have for today. Just the technical aspect of it. This is very fun, and I do want to return to this, so if you guys like this, I will make this into a fully featured and functional ship. I think that'd be really funny. So, if you guys did like it, make sure to like the video, subscribe, leave any suggestions you have in the comments below, and have a nice day. Take care.